And away we go.
And we're going to close it out with more sex and violence. I mean, just sex. But it's going to feel like it's getting violent because
drugs and rock and roll.
people. The phrase is Democrats are eating their own. I don't view that this way at all. In fact, let me just introduce it this way. There are people who complain about what happened with Al Franken, where he was accused of something and he just said, I'm just going to step down. It's not worth fighting it. I'm not saying that we should have done that to Al, but between that versus what the Republicans have done with Trump, I'll take holding our people to that standard over the Trump standard where they don't hold them to anything any day of the week.
Or any of the Republicans.
Yeah, or any of the Republicans. But to get into what I was going to say, Eric Swalwell, you've probably heard of the name by now. They're California 14th district. Potentially running for governor. I don't think anymore after all this. There are people who say, it's some kind of weird conspiracy. No, it's totally not. There was an article just recently released, well-researched, well-documented. This is not a single accusation. This is multiple women over a period of time. Everything from, a minor... faux pas up to actual assault on some level, but multiple accusations. You've got people like Jamie Raskin, well-known Democrat, who said these are verified. They have pictures and text messages, and this is not something that people are pulling out of their ass going, "Oh, look at him." No, this is verified. And what is frustrating is the number of Democrats I'm seeing in comments on social media who are like, you can't just accuse somebody without proof. Well, first, they have proof. And second, the court of public opinion is not the same thing as the court. We're not trying to throw the dude in jail. We're trying to say that because of these accusations, he should no longer be a public servant. That is completely different from saying, hey, because of this stuff that we heard, he should be in jail. That's the court of public opinion, at least in my mind. Yeah, if allegations are beyond, hey, one or two, that should make a difference in terms of how we respond to something, regardless of how much verification has been done. Which is, again, goes back to the Al Franken thing of, hey, we acted cautiously by just going, you know what, we're just, if some of the people have been accused, done. And now people are trying to reverse that and say, we don't believe these women. Well, we're not talking one or two women, and if we were talking one or two women, I could almost get behind that statement. But we're talking a minimum of 4 or 5, maybe dozens over a period of time.
Right. Now, I don't know the specifics of this case. I haven't read up on it. I don't know exactly what's going on, but my 2 cents on this is that this is not a matter of some consensual, arrangements or even... maybe some extramarital affair between two consenting adults. This appears to be somebody abusing power and, and doing things that without consent and criminal.
Yeah. Well, at least.
And as you mentioned, this, if this is the case and it's verifiable, which it appears to be, then you have to, it doesn't matter how good this guy is, what he says, how good his message is, how good of a politician is. You can't give it any leniency, because then you're just a hypocrite too.
Well, and that's the other part of it is the hypocrisy in this one is huge, because one of the things that this guy was known for doing was going after Trump and the Epstein and Epstein related and behavior, because it would look on the surface anyways like he was guilty, not of identical behavior, but of behavior that is far too similar. Let's just put it that way.
Right. Now, let's say this was an unfortunate case where there's just, like I said, I haven't seen this shit, so I don't know. But let's just create a hypothetical here. There is somebody who is wrongfully accused by multiple people because of some sinister plot, let's say, or something. Totally unreal, probably never can happen. You got to believe but this is my point. you have to believe the people making the accusations, because historically, people don't come out because of what the ramifications for the person coming out are. And, and historically, all the different cases throughout history where it's been pushed aside because nobody would listen. So even you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the person who's making the accusations, is my point that I'm making. Even if that means I would rather have, you get my point. Even if it comes out at some point that this is untrue or unfounded in this case or any other case after this happens, then come back into the light. But until then, you got to stay low until this passes over. That's my,
Okay. Yeah, and
you get my point here,
right? I only get
regardless
wind
of
this maybe a day or two ago. Even though this has been going on for at the very least, it's been in
the likelihood of multiple people
Yeah.
with multiple accusations that are very similar, that don't know each other, and there looks to be nothing going on behind the scenes as far as extortion or something. Then yeah, man, and this is like you said,
and the people raising these concerns are not they're not Republicans. They're fellow Democrats.
Right. So this doesn't look sinister.
Yeah, and they're not like random blow by people either. They're well known people that I personally happen to respect.
And this is a core values issue, not a moral issue.
Right.
So I think want to leave it at that.
Yeah, we can leave it at that.
Yeah. So
let us know what you think.
When you start crossing the line between morality and ethics,
I will add one thing, and I kind of already said it, but just to repeat, that there were some people in some of the comments that have been like, oh, well, what about, Biden, and what about this person and that person? Well, almost every person they mentioned, the accusation that they were referencing, there was like one person, and it was kind of flimsy what they were even saying. We're not talking one person, and we're not talking something flimsy. We're talking verifiable, and again, I think it's a minimum of four primary witnesses and as many as 20 or more.
In some of these cases, it's just it could be a matter of miscommunication, perception, and
some of them.
I'm just saying, in some cases, it can be that simple. Somebody made an off joke that was stupid and shouldn't have, or a remark, or in Al Franken's case, a dumb joke that was totally uncalled for, but just in context, kind of not so egregious but you get my point.
Yeah.
So, there is a little nuance. I don't want to get into this because I'll get fucking murdered by everybody saying, dude, what are you talking about? There's no nuance. But look, when you cross the line, like I was going to say here, between morality and core values, and it's obvious that... I
had one final thing. Sorry.
That's two final things.
This dude's reaction, that's what I was going to get at, is... And we can go back to Al Franken. Al Franken basically said, is it a big deal? I don't think so, but... I did this and I apologize and whatever. This dude is doing, I hate to use this phraseology, but he's doing a Trump. He's like, he's doubling down. I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you accusing me? They must be out to get me. His verbiage, if you didn't know who he was, it sounds like Trump.
Like I said, unfortunately, if the accusations are bogus, in his situation, the best thing to do is retreat and then regroup at another time.
Which is not what he's doing. Yeah.
But it's not what he's doing. My point was going to be is once you cross that line, from consensual and whatever else into that space, and there's accusations of flying, you got to back up, man.